I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's just a little bit after 6 o'clock. And as we do with the opening of our meetings, and if you'll pause with me just a second, I think we're checking the microphones. Okay, is that better? Better. We want good, better, best. All right, we are now ready to go ahead and call this meeting to order, and we will have an invocation, which will be led by Mr. Morrison, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilman Bilbrey. And I'd ask if you would all please stand.
Place flag, please.
Ms. Walker, would you please call the roll?
Honorable Mayor Fowler.
Here.
Honorable Vice Mayor.
Here.
Honorable Councilman Graves.
Vice Mayor Hill notified us that he would not be able to be with us this evening, and so we still have a quorum, and we will consider next the agenda and the minutes of the last meeting. We have all had those, had a chance to look at them. If there are any corrections that need to be made, if you'd speak up and let's know it now. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as it's presented.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a second? Ms. Walker?
Mayor Fowler.
Yes.
Honorable Bilbrey.
Yes.
Honorable Graves.
Yes.
Honorable Hawkins.
Yes.
Item number 2 is to consider approval of the minutes of the council meeting held on September 12th, 2023 with the amendment of Resolution 359-23.
The amendment's just a correction. The resolution showed on the minutes is 357, and it actually should have been 359 to fall in sequence.
All right. We will make that change, and I will make a motion that we approve the minutes with that amendment of Resolution 359-23. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Walker?
Mayor Fowler,
Yes.
Honorable Bilbrey,
Yes.
Honorable Graves, Honorable Hawkins.
Yes.
Under new business, we have consider approval to suspend the reading of Resolution 360-23 and Ordinance 704-23. And if you have or haven't been to Speed and Accurate, you know that we do discussing each of these resolutions and ordinances in more detail, but at this time they're quite lengthy, so I would entertain a motion to approve the suspending of Resolution 360-23 and Ordinance 704-23.
I make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Walker?
Mayor Fowler,
Yes.
Honorable Bilbrey,
Yes.
Honorable Graves, Honorable Hawkins.
Yes.
All right, item number 4, consider approval of Resolution 360-23, which is to participate in the Public Entity Partners Driver Safety Matching Grant. And that is sponsored by Mr. Morrison, but our insurer is Public Entity Partners, and of course, they want us to do everything we can to be aware of driver safety, and so they've offered us a grant. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's a 50% matching grant for programs that improve driver safety. Chief Armour is working on securing a driver training trailer for 2 days, 4 days? 4 days. So in January, what the trailer does is it allows the police department, the fire department, public works, all of those can take driver safety programs to improve their driving skills. It's $500 a day for the trailer. The grant will pay for half, so $2,000 total. We'll pay $1,000. The grant pays $1,000, but it's to improve our drivers, give them more actual things to encounter that maybe they're not encountering on a daily basis, to improve their driving skills and prepare defensive driving habits.
All right. Are there any questions? Hearing none or any discussion, I will entertain a motion to approve Resolution 360-23 to allow us to participate in the PE Partners Driver Safety Matching Grant.
I make the motion.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Hawkins. Now, Ms. Walker.
Mayor Fowler,
Yes.
Honorable Bilbrey,
Yes.
Honorable Graves, Honorable Hawkins.
Yes.
Item number 5, consider approval of the first reading of Ordinance 704-23, adopting the rules of the road and amending Municipal Code Title 15, Chapter 1. That this basically has changed some of the numbering of their rules of the road as they are listed in Tennessee Code Annotated, and so what we are trying to do is to keep up with what they have done and make our codes match theirs. And so we want to adopt the state traffic statutes by the particular number as set out by the state of Tennessee and Tennessee Code Annotated. This is sponsored by our city recorder, and I don't know if you want to speak to that, Ms. Walker, or not.
This is just to make sure that we stay in compliance with the state laws and just, like you said, cleaning the house a little bit and keeping it up to date.
I make the motion that we go ahead and approve on first reading ordinance 704-23. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Ms. Walker.
Mayor Fowler,
Yes.
Honorable Bilbrey,
Yes.
Honorable Graves, Honorable Hawkins.
Yes.
Item number 6. Consider approval of amendment to the Tennessee Central Heritage Rail Trail Authority agreement regarding appointment terms of board members. All right. This agreement is for the Tennessee Central Heritage Rail Trail Authority. It's quite lengthy, but the only difference that we are aware of is that it's exactly as we stated. It's regarding the appointment terms of members, which, as I understand, is a 3-year term. However, I think I also understood that you could serve 2 terms and then you would be termed out. This changes it to so that there still are, it's 3 years, but you can continue. There is no, as long as your city reappoints you or asks you to serve, then you can continue in that capacity. Now, have I stated that correctly, Mr. Morrison?
That's correct.
This is almost a housekeeping measure as well. We are certainly participating in the Rail Trail Authority, so I would go ahead and make the motion that we approve this amendment to the Rail Trail Authority agreement regarding the appointment terms of board members. Do I have a second for that?
Second.
Ms. Walker?
Mayor Fowler,
Yes.
Honorable Bilbrey, Honorable Hawkins.
Yes.
Item number 7 is to consider approval of a lease agreement for the All Good Post Office beginning 8/1 of 2025. I know that, is that number right? 2025? Okay. You may know that we actually own that piece of property where the post office is located. And it says on the outside of it, All Good Post Office. And some of us, we take a little offense that they now want to call it the Cookeville All Good Branch, but we all know it's the city of All Good and it's 38506. But they lease that from us, and if you look in your package, the one that's marked JLL, that is the agent for the post office that has negotiated with Mr. Morrison on getting a rate for the lease, which will be $35,000 annual rent, and it will be for a term of 5 years with an option to renew. Is that also correct, Mr. Morrison?
That is correct.
Okay. Are there any questions or any discussion regarding this?
How much of an increase is that over the last lease?
I'd have to look, but I believe the last lease was $31,000, so it's $4,000 a year increase.
But now this one, this JLL company has contracted with the post office. Keith called me about this, and we investigated this. And this company's contracted with the post office all over the country, private landlords, public landlords, everybody. And their deal with the Postal Service is for the landlord to pay a commission for bringing the tenant, even though it's a long-term tenant, and we've already got the relationship with the post office, but we'd be required under the Postal Service's contract with JLL to pay them a 4% commission, which is a total of $7,000 covering the entire 5 years, grand total of $7,000. And so Keith's negotiated an increase in the rent, but it then gets reduced back down in part by that commission that you have to pay, and that's part of the deal. Apparently that's the way it is all over the country. I think it's the most backwards thing I've ever seen, but I don't think you can be the only one who doesn't do it anywhere in the country. And again, they've negotiated this for private landlord and with a private entity. Ours are for the Postal Service and this kind of a city,
So you want to negotiate a higher price then?
which is what Keith did. He negotiated as high as he could get them to go, and so they went up 16,000, but it's cost you $7,000 to get it. So that's how it goes.
That's a little bit of a win.
And you get to keep the post office here for 5 additional years till 2030, which is important.
And we can continue to call it Allgood Post Office. All right. Is there any further discussion about approving the lease? All right. If this is something that the council wants to enter into, I'll be happy to accept a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Graves. And is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bilbrey. And now, Ms. Walker?
Mayor Fowler,
Yes.
Honorable Bilbrey,
Yes.
Honorable Graves,
Yes.
Honorable Hawkins.
Yes.
Item number 8 is to consider approval of change order 1 for the Old Walton Sewer Extension. We talked about this at our work session, and this has to do with various items that we have run into while we're out there doing this, and it's just quite a bit of explaining, so I will be quiet and let Mr. Morrison do that since he's dealt with it on a daily basis.
There are 2 components to this. Originally, when we bid this, of course, we were with USDA and we changed to the TML bond fund. USDA was very restrictive about being able to pave and what they would allow us to do as it pertained to the sewer project. However, the conditions of these roads was very poor, and so in the process of doing the construction work, they deteriorated even more than was originally even expected or allowed to be covered by USDA. So once we made the change, we knew we were going to have to come back and fix this. So what this is doing is this is adding a binder for the paving, which is required due to condition of the road. So to be able to top coat those, we had to be able to put binder down and level them and get them back into a condition to where they can even accept the top coat of paving. The other component here is a $34,000 change for the pumps. So this is an increased discharge pump. We'd been having some problems with the station and capacity. So I asked our engineer to go back and review the numbers based on what we had been seeing from the station. And we decided to go ahead and be ahead of the game and not putting pumps in the ground that we felt were already behind. But 44,000 we were taking in, and the stuff is probably going to be a little high. My guess is the actual numbers are going to come in less than this on the paving. The pump is the actual cost of the pumps. As of currently, the station is installed. The paving is done with the exception of about 20 or 30 feet of binder that's down for the final connection to the apartment complex. Electrical is working on getting some final components for the electrical system. Once the pump station is fired up, the pumps are running, then the station will be active and we'll go into bypass mode for the old station, and we'll pump in with a temporary bypass pump to the new station, pull out the old one, put the piping in to connect it, and that'll pretty much wrap this project up.
I know the citizens, especially of that area, will be happy to see it completed and everything brought back to the way it should be. And I know this has been a project long time in the making, so we're very glad to see that it is almost completed. Are there any questions or any discussion that we need to have, or ask Mr. Morrison anything? All right, hearing none, I'll make the motion that we approve the change order 1 for the Old Walton Sewer Extension. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion or questions? If not, Ms. Walker?
Mayor Fowler,
Yes.
Honorable Bilbrey,
Yes.
Honorable Graves,
Yes.
Honorable Hawkins.
Yes.
Item number 9 is to consider approval to surplus the 2005 Chevy 3500 and the 2006 Chevy 1500. And I didn't make a note on the 2005, but on the 2006, I wrote down that it has 241,000 miles on it. I see, Mr. Walt over there agreeing with me that that's okay. And it's getting, as I understand it, is too cost prohibitive for us to continue to maintain that. Okay. Who knows about or wants to tell us about the 2005?
I'll take that one.
Okay.
The Parks Director has that one, but he's in the booth running sound. So that's a truck that we'd picked up several years ago through the LISO program. It's eat up with rust underneath. The bed has holes in it so huge you can step through them because it would scatter it right back if you so choose, and probably would not. So it's just time for it to go.
Well, as we all know, when it's time to go, Mr. Morrison seems to do a great job at getting rid of those at the best possible price. So I would make the motion that we surplus the 2005 Chevy and the 2006 Chevy. And do I have a second? Ms. Walker?
Mayor Fowler,
Yes.
Honorable Bilbrey,
Yes.
Honorable Graves,
Yes.
Honorable Hawkins.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Morrison, we'll let you make your report.
All Good Fall Festival will be October the 28th from 2 to 6. There will be events at the All Good Ballpark. There'll be hay rides, inflatables for the kids to play on. There's going to be live bands. Director Phipps has been working on putting this festival together. Some local businesses are going to be handing out candy that night as well as the city. So we've got a big stash of candy to give away. The Halloween traffic control for Brookside, and the chief has asked if there are other communities that have issues with traffic, that if they'll let us know, we'll be glad to study those and address those for the Halloween to ensure the kids are safe. And he works very hard to keep that over on that side of town monitored so that we can be sure people get in and get out safely. And if we need emergency services, they're available to get in there as well. So, anything else?
Well, we certainly want to take advantage of this great day of October the 28th from 10 to 2 with the shredding, as well as the drug take back and the seat belt. I hope we can convince. Okay. Well, and was told or was mentioned that we need to put the candy in a safe place so that there's enough to hand out to the children, because we will all are tempted to put our hands into that trick or treat goodies. Walt, do you have anything? Okay. Mr. Roy, do you have anything? Okay. Now we come to the hearing of our citizens or delegations. Anybody who wants to speak may address us and just come up to the podium and tell us who you are and what we can do for you. I think I know this young man walking up to the podium. Hello, Mr. Gist. How are you? Good. I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Thank you, Mr. Gist. You served with distinction on this board, and we're very appreciative of your community service. And I will ask the codes inspector to get out, and we'll check some of this junk in some of these houses. And I don't know if we'll be able to do anything about the 4th Street. The railroad may override us there. I don't know, but we can look and see what we can do about making that a little smoother. At least we can speak to them about it. Well, thank you, Mr. Gist. We'll look into it and do what we can. Is there anyone else? Speak now or forever hold your peace, as they say. All right. Not hearing anything, I will make the look at that. And I have a few little announcements. Let me see. First of all, I'd like to let everyone know that the Comptroller of the Treasury has issued a certificate to the city of Allgood, which is for our budget being adopted on or before the fiscal year end. It was filed with the Comptroller's office within 15 days of it being adopted. No issues of concern were raised during their review of the budget, and our local government is not under the oversight of the Tennessee Board of Utility Regulations, and that is a big accomplishment. We owe a lot of this to everybody who worked on the budget, to department heads, to Mr. Morrison, to Ms. Walker, to the board. This is something that not every city receives, and so we are just pleased as we can be that that the Comptroller's office has recognized us for this accomplishment. And another accomplishment that we need to make mention of is Mr. Morrison has received an award, an achievement, a certificate of appreciation. He is now a certified municipal financial officer, and we are very proud of him. That required, I know he's embarrassed, his face is turning red. That required him to take several classes. It also required him to take testing on that as well. And, you know, with people like that, becoming or receiving their CMFO, Certified Municipal Financial Officer, he will also receive a certificate from the state for that accomplishment, but we as All Good want to thank him for his accomplishment and let him know that we appreciate all of his hard work. And we probably wouldn't have gotten to this one without this one. So we just want to thank him and thank everyone for recognizing the accomplishments of. We're proud of all of our employees. Anytime that they receive an award or an accomplishment, we like to recognize them and let them know how much we appreciate them. So if there is anything else from council, no, I would make the motion that we adjourn. I take that. So this meeting is adjourned, and our next meeting will be November the 14th. So mark your calendars.